The Fambulance was up for auction. A local fire department was retiring it, and so I put in a bid. I got a very good deal on the rig, and all told, with the buy cost, all the materials, everything else, honestly, I'm probably into this for under $10,000. My name's Tom, and this is the Fambulance. This is a 1989 F350 diesel dually. It's got the 7.3 liter IDI engine in it, four-wheel drive, and we turn it into the family truckster. So why don't we take a look inside? This is maple, kind of a spalted maple, the countertops. I just love the look of the live edge, this nice thick slab. You'll notice we don't have a sink at this point. We buy water at the store. We're weekend warriors. The refrigerator here is a Dometic. I forget, I want to say it's a 3.7 cubic. Oh my goodness, it's full of beer. It runs 12 volt as well as 110. So if the inverter's on, it's running off of the 110. This little cabinet right here, he just houses our current indoor cooking option, which is the classic. Ours is actually Hillary. I think that was a Sears brand once upon a time. Wedding gift, thank you, whoever gave us that 22 years ago. But yeah, that's our indoor cooking option. And then this is the pantry, full of all the goodies that you need for camping. We tend to view this as much of a bug out rig as our weekend camper, so we keep it loaded up with stuff. If we ever had to hit the hills, we could do it quick. Hi buddy, this is really Boomer's ambulance, so you'll always see him if the door's open. He's in here. This little area up here is the medicine cabinet. Got a nice little swing out mirror. You need your French press, he's up there. Definitely need your toilet paper. I like this apothecary drawer design. This is all built out of course, old pallet wood, right? What else are you going to build stuff out of these days? So I went into this project with no skills whatsoever for fabbing anything like this. I've never done anything like it. I had no woodworking skills at all. I just started watching YouTube and started learning from other people. So anybody who's interested in doing an ambulance conversion like this, I give them the same advice. Gut the thing down to the studs right off the bat. It seems like a good idea when you start, like, oh, it's already got these cabinets and it's already got these beds, and I could just put a blanket over that and I'm off and camping. But what you find out is once you take one component out, they're all kind of modular and built into each other, and I wasted more time trying to conserve what was already in there. If I'd have just gone in and shredded the thing with a pry bar and a Sawzall, I'd have saved a ton of time. One of the good things about the Fambulance is its low clearance. I like that for cruising through the brush on back roads, but it's also one of the disadvantages, so I have to spend most of my time on my knees in here. My wife is 5'2 3/4. She clears by 1/4 of an inch. I do not. So I spend a lot of time stooped over and crouched down. We keep all of our cooking gear in these little baskets, all the pots, pans. This middle drawer is all the bric-a-brac. Normally there's an ice chest, like I said, here. We can pull it out this way. This is that cabinet that has access from the outside, so you can also pull it out that side door. And this is going to be a little bit loud, but one of the cool things, this is from its old ambulance days. Got a garage door, so whatever gets shoved in there, we slam that down before we take off, and it keeps everything tight inside there. Of course, all of the bug sprays and tanning lotions and things like that. A little broom for sweeping it out. And underneath here, in this vent, is a 5 kW diesel air heater, a cab heater. 5 kilowatts is way too much for a 100 square foot ambulance. I highly recommend, I think they make a 2 or a 2.5. If you're doing an ambulance conversion, go smaller. All of these lights were original issue on in the ambulance. Upgraded all of them to LED because obviously if we're camping in it, we want to draw as little power as possible. All the curtains in here, I sewed them my very own self. This is just your standard copper plumbing. I went with copper piping because it was inexpensive and available, and I just kind of liked the look. The wall is just knotty cedar, tongue and groove. It's thin and it's lightweight and it's really easy to work with. And it smells nice. I mean, there's just all sorts of advantages. This is not only the headboard to our queen size bed that this becomes, but it also doubles as the liquor cabinet. Note to self, don't forget that you have a liquor cabinet in your rig if you go to Canada. They have a really bad sense of humor about you trying to drive that alcohol back into the United States. These cushions I did myself. There's 3-inch memory foam glued down to plywood, and then this vinyl wrapped around the outside and then stapled up underneath. I like this headboard to stay a headboard, and so I actually end up with extra cushions that we're hauling around. It becomes a queen size bed, and now that my son is bigger, this is actually exactly a twin size bed in between, and so we put a mattress down underneath there. He shimmies underneath the bed, and this thing sleeps 3+ boomer quite comfortably. We thought about living in this thing from the very beginning, and we continue to think about living in it. You know, it was designed to be kind of a bug out vehicle for us, and who'd have thunk that a global pandemic would come along and there'd be an opportunity to actually bug out. But life being what it is, you know, I've still got a job, my wife's still got a job, but I think it would absolutely work for the two of us. I think it's a little crowded for a family of 3, but for the two of us, yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if you see us down in San Diego heading south and heading toward Baja. This cabinet is now where we keep our clothes. Each person puts their milk crate in there. That's all the more storage space you get for the trip. Normally we've got a round table that sits in this space right here. It's got a pedestal and a base like a normal household table. The reason that I went with this style with a kind of free float table rather than that dinette style where it's your tabletop drops down and you put cushions on top of it was just for space. I don't like sitting with the table right up against my gut. And those tables, they just barely fit, as well as because I have these armrests, it would make it difficult to kind of slide into that table. Up top, we've got the obligatory fantastic vent. We went with the one that's got the thermostat. It pushes air out, pushes air in, several different speed settings. It's great. It does everything that you need it to do. This little armrest doubles as a little storage thing, flashlight, speaker, art supplies, whatever you got in there. It's just held down with a little cabinet thing there. These drawers, again, I'm not a finished carpenter by any stretch, but I like the fact actually that these move in and out so poorly because they never slide out. We take this thing on a lot of really rough roads up in the national forests and wherever we end up. They sit still because they're built so bad. My original dream in building this rig was to take it on my annual fishing trip. So having a 4-wheel drive diesel dually rig that can just get anywhere with over a foot of clearance underneath it. It was just the perfect rig for that trip. The family, we take it to parks, but really our favorite thing is getting up into the national forest. But the BLM land, the national forest land, is the greatest gift this country ever gave us. On On the side is a Dometic awning that came off of an old Airstream. The rig is 12 foot long, so that's 12 by, I think, 6 foot as it comes out. This little roof rack is a Yakima, just a standard Yakima basket that I cut in half to fit up there. We usually haul firewood or whatever kind of gear in there. Then I've got the fire service Pulaski mounted up there, as well as a shovel. One of the advantages of an old ambulance like this is all the storage space, the exterior storage space, and that's one of the things that we really liked about it. Going through the panels, this front panel here is actually mostly the electronics. It had all sorts of crazy ambulance electronics in it. We kind of simplified it down into a standard 12 volt system plus the 110. But in addition to that, we've got the solar on top. And so the solar is two 245 watt panels. They come down into an MPPT controller. And then also within this panel, we've got a Xantrex 1800 watt inverter. I can plug shore power into it, and it immediately flips everything over to just running off of the shore power. It's just a decent little system. I've also got my my rescue tracks in there. A lot of guys like to mount them outside. I like mine to be pristine and clean when I need to get myself out of a muddy hole. This is the interior. This is fine Ford red vinyl from 1989. Had all the flips and levers and dials to run the siren, run the radio, run all that good stuff, but we took it all out, put this aluminum plate in, and over time I've just been adding gauges. We added water temp, a pyrometer, which is the exhaust temperature, and a transmission temp, because this thing weighs 11,500 pounds, bone dry, so going up hills you kind of want to know how the transmission's doing. We added a Garmin RV GPS to it. We also added the Citizens Band, the CB, and then I added this very high-tech leveling gauge. This missile launch button, that actually what this does is it attaches the house batteries to the start batteries in case the start batteries were ever dead. If I flip that on, I can actually start it off of the house batteries, which are always charging off of the solar. So nice little added feature to it. This big cabinet right here, you can see I've got it vented. We added that vent. This is the back of our Dometic refrigerator. The other reason that it needs to be vented is because it's got these giant uninterruptible power supply batteries. These are Marathon glass mat batteries, AGM batteries. There's 3 of them in there, so we've got just about 500 amp hours in there. We also keep a barbecue and some other random things. We've got 2 big diesel tanks. These are 24 gallons each. The reason we have such large tanks is because a 1989 F350 hauling 11,500 pounds gets roughly 8 miles to the gallon. Last cabinet on this side is the camping cabinet. This has fishing gear, emergency toilet, 2 weeks worth of food in there, the annex, a 6-man tent, and what we affectionately call in the fire service a piss can, a water fire extinguisher, which is actually a really nice feature of this rig. They're good for brush fires, they're good for putting out campfires. So moving around to the back of the rig, these are actually off of an old Pierce fire engine. So this allows us access to the roof. The entire roof rack is this aluminum box tube. I had a buddy weld this the framework up for me, and then this is just standard cedar 5/4 decking like you would have on your household deck. It's 8 foot by 12 foot, so you've got 96 square feet up here. Before we put the solar panels up here, it was actually, we used to call it the dance floor, but now the solar panels take up a little bit of that space, but a utility that I wouldn't give up. This is the bike rack. We can get 3 bikes just perfectly up there. Trasharoo, you can't live without the Trasharoo. They're great for keeping all the smelly stuff outside. We added this tow hitch. We do tow with it from time to time. The rig doesn't even know that there's anything behind it. A couple of the old features. This, I think, was a was a doorbell or a buzzer or something. If anybody wants to tell me in the comments, I'd love to know what that button used to do, but it doesn't do anything now. Let's see, we've got scene lights on this side. I rewired those. I actually just put little LED lights in behind those. Everything's LED on this now. This little guy I added when we were out here cooking. We normally put the barbecue right here, and there would just be, you know, the seasoning salts and the little bottle of oil, and everything would end up all over the place. And so I invented this crazy thing that has to latch it down, goes up, drops down in, and you can put all your beverages, whatever you want, along there. And then this cabinet here, this is the mechanic's garage. Got a bag for electrical, I got a bag for mechanicing, I got a bag for all the wrenches, and then there's just a bunch of random spare parts that sit in there. All of these windows are eBay finds. I really had to measure them out and make sure they fit within the frame of the rig, but we added them all. There's an exact match on the other side, and then when we go inside, you'll see there's a little tiny one over the kitchenette area. I wanted them tinted in there for privacy. They've also got the screen on the inside of them that slides out. What's cool about this cabinet is it's actually accessible from the inside as well. Underneath here, there's an air compressor down there for inflating and deflating the tires. I highly recommend Fambulance over the other options, sprinters, school buses, anything like that. And especially for a beginner, and the primary reason is it's a nice square box. There's straight square lines in these things. Once you strip it down to the studs, like me, you don't have to really know what you're doing. You're just building boxes inside of a box. It's built like a little tank, so it's got that structural integrity, but there's also all sorts of surfaces to attach things to. My name's Tom Miller. This is the Fambulance. You can follow me at Fambulance on Instagram. It's really the only place to find me, and link will be down in the description below.